Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. We've got a pretty fun build today. Here we're going to do a restoration modification to a Camaro Z28. Now this Hot Wheels was found a bunch of years ago by a young man, and this is kind of what inspired him to get into collecting. Now, the car was set aside for a whole bunch of years, and his father contacted me and said, I'd like to do something special because the son really liked this car and he's always wanted to have it fixed or restored or whatever like that. So Dad contacted me and says, look, my son not too long ago became an Eagle Scout and I'd like to do something special for him because he's completely forgot about this car. So let's go ahead, grab your favorite adult beverage and join along. Here we've got the car. Now there's not a lot of pieces to this. There's the body, there's the windshield on the inside, and then the base, and that's pretty much it. Now, at a request, we're going to go ahead and change out the wheels on this car and put some real riders on there. We're going to repaint it in red Spectre Flame, but we're going to put back pretty much the original decals, maybe a little bit of different colors on them, and take off and file off some of the flashing on the back of the car. Windshield's kind of scratched up, but we're going to dip it in the Pledge Revive and get it all shiny again as best as we can anyway. Maybe trim off some of that flashing. And we're going to replace the wheels like I said. Yeah, these are pretty nasty anyways. I mean, they don't look too bad, but the axles are really sloppy and everything, so we're going to put some nice real riders on there. Here we're going to drill out the post. Now, because this is a more modern car, I'm going to go ahead and use the 5/64 drill bit to drill out the post. And that means I'm going to use 2-56 screws. Now, both of these posts are a little bit on the longer side, so we're going to use the 3/16 inch length. Now, if you got a short post, you would use the 1/8 inch length. As you're drilling, clean it out a little here and there to make sure that the flutes don't get clogged, and we'll go ahead and get that tapped out. Here we've got a little bit of just regular motor oil. One drop in each post, or just actually in one post, because the residual from the first post you do, that'll be enough on there in order to do the second post. Here I'm using the 256 tap, and the little handle that I have there I got from Bright Vision. Now I'll tell you, instead of using that real big, heavy, complicated tap holder, this little handle that Tony from Bright Vision came up with is absolutely cool. And if you don't have one, folks, you should get one or two. Now I've got one for my 256 setup, and I've got one for my 1-72 setup. And just because I'm me, I've got a couple spares too. But, I mean, they don't wear out. Now, here we're going to use the 2-56 screws like I was telling you before. And since these posts are longer, you're going to want to use the 3/16 inch length. Go ahead and test fit those screws, make sure they're okay. Yeah, that fits nicely. Try and get all this work done ahead of time before you do any paint job, because you don't want to be messing around with this and drilling posts and everything when you got a nice fresh paint job on there, because the more you handle it, the more chance you're taking of screwing up that paint job. So do all that heavy stuff before you do your paint job, and you won't take the risk of damaging your paint job. And there's today's tip from your Uncle Paulie.
the graveyard.
Now we're going to work on the base. Here we're going to take out the wheels. Now they're held in by these two little metal tabs here. So I'm using my battery powered Dremel and my titanium bits to go ahead and grind that out. And these things work fantastic. It's like cutting butter with a hot knife. They came out incredibly easy. Here's the model Dremel that I use, is 8220, and it's got a battery in the back that you can charge up. Now, if you're going to use this, look for a refurbished one. Now, Amazon sells these refurbished ones, and you can get them for pretty much half price, but they still have the same warranty as if you were buying a brand new one. And here's the bit set that I use, and you can get these at my Amazon Marketplace page. They're like $18 or something like that. But they're worth their weight in gold because they work so good. I got these wheels at Samed Wheels. Now, Samed Enrique is one of my sponsors for the channel. And I'll tell you, I love the wheels. I love the product. They look fantastic on all the modifications. So check out Samed Wheels on www.samedwheels.com. Now it's time to get some paint on. First color we're going to put on is a light coat of orange. The Spectre Flame, Retro Flame Orange. And I got this paint at Second Chance Redlines. Vince has come out with a new product for shiny paint, and it's called Retro Flame Paint. Now you would apply this just as you would if you were using the Spectre Flame paint. Now, again, we're putting on the light color here. We're putting on the orange. And then in the back, we're going to put a base of red and fade it into the orange. Now, I do a lot of faded paint jobs because I like using more than one color. Now, you can do this, or you can experiment with different colors and see what you come up with. You can also take the paints and mix the colors together and come up with a completely new shade of color. And that's absolutely fantastic too. So check out Second Chance Redlines. Now guys, I know that I talk about the products and go here and go there and stuff like that, but for the folks that are following the channel, I want you to know where I'm getting my products from so you can do the same thing to your customs and your restorations and your modifications. I can sit here and say all day, hey, do this, do that. But if you don't know where to get the stuff at, then you're not going to be able to do it yourself. And that's what I want to do. I want to encourage you to get in there and do these things yourself, because you can. You can do this. If you're sitting at home and you're bored, get your cars out and have some fun, folks, and watch these videos. We got the orange down. Now we're going to blend in some red. And it's only going to be a subtle change, and sometimes that's all you need. Now, if you're looking for some of these supplies, check out my Amazon Marketplace page. The link is in the comments. Just copy it and post it to your web browser and go check it out. Now, if you're looking for something, let me know. If I can help you find it, I will. But check out the Marketplace page. This is just a convenience that I provide for you to be able to go to one place and find the stuff that you're looking for. Or if it's not there, I'll tell you where else you can go to find it too. That looks fantastic. All right, now it's time to put on some decals. I'm going to use some microset, and I'm going to put it on the car initially. Now, when you put the decal on, this is going to help the decal adhere better, and it helps blend in with the adhesives in the decals, and it helps it stick better. Now, the Retro Flame paint's got a nice clear gloss finish to it, and if you happen to put some decals on, it's better to put them on a nice shiny gloss finish. They happen to stick better. Now, can you do it to a flat surface? Sure you can, but you're taking the risk of that decal coming off later on if you're not going to protect it, or even if you put clear coat over the top of the decal on a flat finish, you're taking a chance of it coming off, because underneath the surface is not flat and there's not enough tension underneath when the decal dries, and it could possibly come off. All right, it would be like applying something to a sheet of glass or applying something to a gravel road. Yeah, it's microscopic, but you get that visual in your head. It's going to stick a lot better to that flat surface than it is a rough surface. And that's why it's better to apply these decals to a nice clear gloss finish, because the adhesive works that much better. Once you get the decal on there, go ahead and smooth out the wrinkles. Now notice how in the wheel well, there's decal. I do that in order to keep the pieces in line with each other, okay? Plus it's less chance of you screwing up the decal when you're applying it. I'll explain that in a video that I'll have coming up on how to apply decals and the differences between them. Here we have the glass on the inside, and I went ahead and dipped that in the Pledge Revive. Now we're going to dip it in there and we're going to set it off to the side. We're going to wick away the excess by touching it to a paper towel. And then we're going to let it set for approximately 5 or 6 hours, or whatever it takes to dry. Now usually I let mine sit overnight. I want to make sure that it's thoroughly dry. So make sure you get all the excess Pledge Revive or Gauzy or whatever you're using off. And I happen to find a small hair on there. I pick that off. And a small bubble. Not a problem. It's better to catch it now before waiting for it to dry, right? That's looking good. Go ahead and set it into your container. Cover it up so there's no dust that gets on the thing. And then let it set. It should be ready in a few hours. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step. All right, we've got all the pieces. We've got the car. We clear coated it after we put the decals on and let them dry. That looks fantastic. I didn't detail out the lights, but I did take a razor and dig into the grooves where the lights are a little bit so you can see them better. Here's the windshield. We did the best as we could with it. And here's the base with those brand new wheels from Samed. They look great. Let's put everything together and have our reveal. And here's what we started with. This Hot Wheels Z28 Camaro. And like I said, the young man found this thing. I forget where his dad told me he found it, but it was in this shape. And they set it aside for a whole bunch of years. Well, things have progressed since then, and the young man is now in his early 20s. And the best part about it is that this young man became an Eagle Scout. And that's a pinnacle in your life that you can reach and have such an achievement like that. And that says a lot for the character of this young man. And I want to take my hat off to him and say congratulations and wish you the best of luck in life. You're definitely off on the right foot. And stay Scout strong, young man. And thank you for what you do and for sticking with something like this. And here's what we got too. Look at how nice this Restomod turned out. Beautiful paint from Second Chance Redlines, the Retro Flame paint. The decals from Second Chance Redlines. The wheels from Samed Wheels. That looks absolutely fantastic. Now, the clear coat I used came from the Redline shop. I use a plethora of products when it comes to restoring my cars. Now, I got this paint recently from Second Chance Redlines, and I wanted to check it out, and you know what? 2 big thumbs up for that one. And to top it all off, we're going to go ahead and mount this car to a custom card. Now, this is something that we don't have enough of in our country today, folks, is pride and honor, etc. And good to you, Chandler. Thank you for joining me today on Diecast Graveyard. But got a lot more videos coming up in the future, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thank you again for joining me here today. If there's something you'd like to see, put it in the comments. Thank you, and cheers.